Alright, so I've watched this trailer quite a few times now, and the video I was going to work on for this week is taking longer than I wanted it to, so I figured we'll just, I'll do a little bit of a trailer analysis here. I think I've got some shit to say. I don't have anything to say, though, about this little story opening, so I'm just going to skip to the good part. And here we are in the gameplay part. Gameplay in quotation marks. I'm really not sure how I feel about these Kraven people. I'm going to talk about it a little more later, but I do really like the design on Spider-Man. It looks good. It took me a little while to like it, I'll be honest. It definitely, like, the different materials going on here, like this more symbiote material with this more sleek material up here. It was really weird at first, I'll be honest. It took a minute, but I actually really like it. I like how the whole suit feels like it moves more, you know? It looks good. I'm a big fan. But it's an acquired taste for sure. But the PS4 Spider-Man suit was also an acquired taste, and now I really love it, so I think it works. It makes sense. I did notice that this dog enemy, after you knock him off of here, that instantly kills him, and then you can, it looks like you can throw him there, right? Like the prompt comes up. Let's just pop back here for a second. And there it is. Okay, I can't get the timing on that. But yeah, there was a prompt there. Kind of cool. Thought that was interesting. I always really liked the way that the environmental systems worked and the fact that the enemies still kind of count as environmental objects in this game has always been, like, really cool and fun. I don't know what that move is for. That one he does right there where he just kind of swings this guy around. Like, he just kind of backs him into the wall there. It looks like it's just like a way to, like, free move enemies around, but I don't know why you would want to do that, so I'm kind of curious what that is exactly. It might have been in the other games, too. I just never have once hit that move before. We'll talk real quick. We're going to go back a bit. The Venom powers are fucking awesome. It looks like, yeah, it gives him such a good it gives him such a good ceiling of power here. I like this first one he uses actually sticks this guy to the wall, right? So it's similar to some of the web powers that you had in the first Spider-Man game, right? And it looks like it's some kind of dash. He loses one of his cooldowns down here doing that. So that does seem like it's one of the moves here. This top one, right? It's just this dash that kind of pulls all of your enemies in, which seems like it's really useful. And then it instantly made that guy into a takedown, right? Which is good too. And this enemy is still so weird to me because he never hit it before that, right? So it seems like if you just mash out of the capture, it instant kills it, and you could throw it at people, which just seems easy, maybe, but I don't know. What do I know? Game's not out yet. I love the takedowns. They look so good with this. I feel like those red attacks used to be unblockable, right? But it seems like he can block them now with his Venom powers, which is interesting. That might be like the change. I really don't know what that is there. It's so weird looking. And then, yeah, that cool kick on the wall is awesome. Maybe it's like an environmental thing. That's really cool. They simply didn't show us the last Venom power that's on here. He never used up that last cooldown, which is interesting that they're saving that one. And we didn't see any of the gadgets that he has over here either. I'm really interested in seeing if, like, the gadgets can interact with the Venom powers at all, because both those Venom abilities feel like they were kind of static right now, right? And one of the cool things about the gadget gameplay in the first game was how well that you could use them together. And so we'll see if these systems can interact really well. I think that's going to be like this real selling point on the Venom powers to me, at least. And then we get this switch to Miles, which is fine. It just seems like it's a cutscene switch, which is cool. And we can see some reversal here, which is good. Because the reversal in these games are always amazing. I fucking love this slingshot move that he does. That is so good. It gives him so much extra speed, which is like one of the main things that I felt like you really needed in these Spider-Man games, is that the traversal is always cool because you have to move up to move forward, right? And so there's this kind of extra layer to the movement. It's always been really good. But it's also kind of slow because you're moving up to move forward. But this movement feels way faster now. This wingsuit also feels way faster. I'm not sure I like it as much as the slingshot because it doesn't feel uniquely Spider-Man as much, you know? We're gonna watch this through the end real quick and then I'm gonna rewind it. The wingsuit especially feels very Just Cause-y to me, or Far Cry. I think we've seen this very similar wingsuits in a lot of games before, and it just, I don't know, it's fine, but like it lasts so long here, you know, and you can go so far with it that it feels, I don't know. To me, it's just like the movement in Spider-Man PS4 and the traversal is so unique. And I would like to see other unique things added in, and this feels like it's stuff that I've seen and played through in a lot of other games before, and that's kind of where I'm like not sold on it yet. And I think I would like it more if it seemed like it lasted less time, but it's so long. You can go so far without swinging on anything, right? And it's definitely faster, I'll give it that. And maybe it just needs to be faster, right? Because maybe we've had this traversal long enough where it doesn't really matter. And you just need to get from one place, point A to point B, but I don't know. This feels kind of boring to me. We're gonna get some stealth gameplay here. Stealth is another place where I feel like you're gonna get one of these really, probably very loud takedowns that somehow don't alert everybody. I like these web lines. I don't remember if they were in the Miles game, but they, I don't remember them from the first Spider-Man. They're very cool. But other than that, doesn't seem like there's anything too interesting being added to stealth here. Stealth just seems kind of the same, honestly. And that's something that, it's such a big part of the game that you have this stealth gameplay added onto the combat, right? That you can take these enemies out stealthily. And I don't know how you iterate on this, you know? I don't know how you make it more unique and how you add to it in a sequel. But so far they're kind of not. Which I guess is fine. We'll see how it turns out. Gets to use a gadget there to pull the guys again. So this is this gadget on the side here. And Spider-Man, Peter Spider-Man had the exact same gadget setup, which is interesting, that they don't have unique ones. So that's, I guess what that does. It just pulls all the enemies in, and then he goes in with this electrical attack. It's the one right here on the top. I honestly can't tell entirely what this one does. It just seems like it does a lot of damage, it hits hard. Which is fine, right? That's all you really have to do. I really like how his takedowns use electricity to make them look different from Peter's takedowns. They're very cool. Yeah, that electric ability is very cool. That's the second ability on the cooldown here. It just sort of chained lightning to everybody. Very awesome looking. In general, I think it's it gives him some so it looks like the Venom power set and the electrical power set are two unique ones. I'm gonna assume these are both powers that work off the cloaking instead, and that's why they're not blue. So it'll be interesting to see if Miles still has that like ability to drop back into stealth that he had in his original game, right? That'll be very, very cool still. This is the part of the trailer that won't look very good on my screen because it's very, very dark, and that if I actually played this in the real game, I would turn the brightness up. But we're just gonna skip through all this. Doesn't matter. Here we are, back to the Land of Light. I'll take this time while they're just doing cutscene stuff to talk a little bit about the enemy design in this game. I think if you're going to create a faction around Kraven the Hunter, you know, that's kind of a sign to me that we might only get one playable enemy faction. Because I feel like Kraven makes more sense as a solo villain in my head. So if they were going to do multiple factions, you would have a couple different factions and then Kraven acting as a solo villain, right? Because that just makes a lot of sense with his plot. He's trying to establish dominance over people and hunt them, you know? That doesn't really work with all of these minions running around as well. So I think it's kind of weird, and I also think it's weird that they're very tech-based minions, because I don't feel like that's kind of Kraven's vibe most of the time. Here's a good shot of some of them here, with all their boats. I do like this water area. This is very cool, and I hope it doesn't just show up in this one very on the rails sort of part of the game, and that it's actually explorable too. That would be very cool if there's some actual water-based combat and it's not just all quick time events. That'd be cool. We'll see though. We'll see. But yeah, I'm kind of picking up the vibe that it's going to be a singular faction type game similar to the Miles game, as opposed to the original Spider-Man PS4, which had a bunch of different enemy factions you have to fight. And I'm kind of disappointed by that I don't feel like I like as much. So story beat wise, I feel like Kraven isn't working as well for me. But then on the other side of it, you have the Peter symbiote story, which is working really well for me, because I feel like you can do so much more with it that you couldn't do before, right? The problem with the symbiote suit Spider-Man story, right, is that you've always got Peter kind of acting as this anti-villain, right, which is very, very cool, but he can never really fully commit to it because he kind of has to go back at some point, right? And so you have to have a second character to take the symbiote and kind of fully realize the Venom vision. You don't really have to do that here because you have a second Spider-Man to play with, right? So you can have Peter do whatever you want and go full Venom if you want him to. Or you can have him and you can either have Miles pull him back, or you can have Miles take over for him, whichever direction you want to go with the story, right? But there's just a lot more room to play with that, you know? So you don't have to have Peter save himself, essentially. So you can commit more to the anti-hero side of things, I guess. I think that's going to be very, very cool. So that's kind of something that I'm really, really excited about here. So to summarize, I really like the idea of having a symbiote suit story with a second Spider-Man in it. Very good. Not sure I'm sold on Kraven's inclusion in the story yet. So far, he seems just okay to me. And then we have Lizard in the water here, and we're going to get this little chase scene. It's fine. It's just a normal on-the-rails chase segment. You just kind of do this. I hope we don't have too many, long, sort of quick time event-y, cutscene-y kind of sequences like this, because these are just they're very boring on replay, you know? That was something I didn't like about Spider-Man PS4, is that, I went back to redo it on New Game Plus, and I'm like, okay, I spent a lot of time in these. It's something that I always thought was not ideal. So I'm someone who really likes to replay games. I'm not someone who likes to just be one and done with it. I like to play through it a couple times usually. So these kind of sequences always end up being a little boring to me. I do like these action sequences in this though, because there is a lot going on, so you can notice things in a second playthrough that you didn't notice going on in the cutscene, which is kind of cool, I guess, but that's about it. I do like how chaotic they are, but that's all I got for it. I do like this move at the end here where Peter saves this guy but then shoves him a little bit because he's frustrated about Doc Ock getting away. It kind of shows his priorities changing as a hero, and it's a nice subtle way of showing his personality change, right? And I really like that they're committing to these small changes in his movements and the way he does things, as opposed to just making all of his changes be big plot moments, right? I think that's working really well here. Alright, and that's sort of the end of the trailer here. I do have a couple things I want to say before I close out. The biggest thing that Spider-Man 2 has to get over, right, with this fall 2023 release, is the fact that it's coming right after Tears of the Kingdom. Not really right after, but kind of after. And I feel like there's certain things Tears of the Kingdom did, in that it was a sequel to a very highly acclaimed game that surpassed it in every way. And what I'm seeing from this trailer so far is similar to the reception that I think Spider-Man 2 is going to have a similar reception to the Miles Morales game, where it's very similar to the first PS4 game, but just has some new layers added onto it. And I don't know, I feel like it's kind of bad release timing, you know? Nintendo has totally shown that you can make a sequel to a beloved game that's more than just the same game again. And I'm not sure that Spider-Man 2 is going to push very far in that direction, or far enough in that direction yet. The other thing that I kind of see coming here is this cost of the PS5, right? I did go and Google it. It is still a $500 console, and I can't remember. I feel like most PS5 games have been dual release on PS4 or also come out on PC, right? I feel like this is the first big PS5 exclusive that at least I can think of. Definitely the first one I'm interested in. Are we still in a period where people don't really have PS5s yet? Because that can be real bad still. I feel like it's not quite in the same situation as PS4 Spider-Man where everybody was picking it up. I feel like a lot of people are kind of gone the PC route in this new generation of consoles. The PC or Switch, right? That's kind of the way people go right now. I'm not sure how many people are going to pick up a PS5 just to play this game if they don't already have one, and I'm not sure how many people already have one still. Those are two things. We had the pandemic affecting sales too. Those are two things that are going to really hurt Spider-Man overall. So I feel like those are the things that they kind of have to overcome here. But trailer overall looks pretty good. I really liked it. I'm very excited as a Spider-Man fan. I will try to cover it from the channel if I can find a way to get a PS4 or PS5 that's not at full price. But if I can't, then I won't. It's pretty much where I land on that. Let me know how you guys feel about it. Are you going to get the game? Whatever. And go ahead and give this video a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed breaking down what we're seeing from the gameplay here a little bit and giving my opinions on it. Very, very excited to see how this goes and see if it can live up to Spider-Man PS4, which was such an amazing game. All right, I'll see you guys around. Bye!